said, it is unimplementable.
What happened to? Probably, I think, sir, she thought it was not brought by Nehruji. Now, because, sir, the BJP has surprisingly managed to get very few votes in Tamil Nadu, sir. I feel bad for them, sir. The previous 2019, they were competing with Nota. But this time, sir, Tamil Nadu people have given a little more. But, sir, the way this time you got 40 out of 40. You got 0. Not a single seat could you win. Sir, you think people of Tamil Nadu will forgive you for this treachery? You're being so vicious against the people of Tamil Nadu. Sir, but for Andhra Pradesh, the South has been ignored. You announced a slew of schemes for your allies in Bihar and Andhra. But Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana, and Karnataka have been completely ignored. Sir, we have no issues, sir. Please, we want you to support Andhra Pradesh. We want you to support Bihar. We are not against it. But do not penalize others. Yes. Do not penalize other states. This reflects very poorly on you, sir. Sir, I thought Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman was a very learned person. She has come out with a new policy, New East angle. Sir, yesterday I was scratching my head and wondering, what is the New East? The New East of India, Bihar comes, Andhra Pradesh comes, West Bengal doesn't come, sir, and Tamil Nadu is sharing border with Andhra Pradesh, and we don't come. So, whenever convenient, she is using it. Sir, there's a saying in Tamil, sir, "Enakku vandha ratham, unakku vandha takkali chutney." That means if I get injured, blood comes for me, but if you do something, it's only a tomato chutney. Sir, I remember, sir, probably Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman is suffering from selective amnesia or dementia. I do not know. In 2014, you had Chandrababu Naidu Garu as your alliance partner. We all know how badly he was treated. He had to give 2 choices for the ministry. He even had a choice to pick who the minister, what portfolio could be. He had come for the swearing-in ceremony. Then alone he knew that one of his choice is going to become a minister, and that to the same civil aviation was given to them. That time, sir, the chief minister of Andhra Pradesh, Thiru Chandrababu Naidu Garu, wanted an appointment with the Prime Minister Modi. He had to wait 4 months. 4 months he had to wait to get an appointment with Modi. For what? Special status for Andhra Pradesh. What all you are giving now, he wanted 10 years back, but what did our Prime Minister do in 2019, sir? He said, into a rally in Raja Mahendravaram, the PM said, the Polavaram project is an ATM for Chandrababu Naidu and his son. Sir, when it chooses you, you put a person down. But when you want to become a Prime Minister because of his help, the same ATM changes and becomes a very important machine for the country.
ATM.
Sir. Sir. And next thing, sir, the matter of 1 week, 15 bridges in Bihar collapsed. Normally, our Sangh Parivar would have come and said, corruption. And the bridges followed. We need CBI inquiry. We need ED inquiry. But what are you doing, sir? You're giving 26,000 crores to rebuild those bridges. Sir, you are rewarding the corrupt persons in Bihar because you want to stay in power and you say you're pure. How can we accept that, sir? Sir, there was a lot of hope in the budget. If everyone thought it would be a pro-poor budget, pro-farm budget, pro-youth budget, as we assumed, your humbling defeat would make you to come back clean and good for the people. Sir, expenditure on social service is crucial for a developing nation like India. It is the only tool we have to eradicate poverty, develop better health infrastructure, and provide a safety net for the most vulnerable. As per the government estimates, sir, they always compare the amount spent this year versus the last year to show how overall the welfare expenditure has grown. at a CAGR of 12.8% education. Sir, education by 9.4, health by 15.8, and claim is a record expenditure. Sir, the devil is in the details. Looking at the figure in terms of percentage of total expenditure reveals a different story. Sir, expenditure on education was just around 1.9% for the year 2017-18, which has fallen to 1.7 in 2023-24. Medical and public expenditure has decreased from 0.8 to 0.16. Welfare schemes for the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and minorities have declined from 0.16 to 0.13. There is no mention of census. This is the fifth budget being presented without the census. This is the first government since independence that has failed to conduct a census even 3 years after the pandemic. Sir, you compare yourself with other countries. I'm going to become the fifth largest economy in the world. Sir, 143 countries in the world after the pandemic have conducted the census successfully and managed to get the data. So what does it mean? The government doesn't know how many people to plan for, what the state of human resources are, what the demography and economic structure are at the local, regional and national levels. So how can we expect effective policy making for this government? One wonders if you're avoiding to conduct census because of the pressure from within your dependable allies for a caste-based census. Sir, budget lets down the poor, fails to address the growing economic equality. Sir, usually GDP, sir, when Manmohan Singh, as the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, took over, sir, the GDP in 2004 was 54.8 lakh crores rupees. Sir, GDP usually doubles every 10 years. When Manmohan Singh left at 2014, and the great Prime Minister Modi took in 2014, it was 105.27 lakh crores, literally doubled. Sir, that means after 10 years, let's do the maths. You should have doubled. You should have been more than 200 crores, sir. A GDP, 200 lakh crores. But your governance has brought in for 2023-24, it is only 173.82 lakh crores, sir. This shows that you are not performing as you claim to. Budgets are aimed to stimulate growth. The economic survey says India's real GDP grew by 8.2% for the year, financial year 24, marking a growth of over 7% for the third consecutive year. It forecasts that in a modest 6.5 to 7%. Sir, but what is growth? It is just the increase of a size of economy, or is it equitable distribution of wealth from the growth? Who is benefiting from the growth? Sir, is the 3.44 crore people living in extremely poverty in country. After all, they are the ones most affected by macroeconomics indicators like inflation, input prices. While headlines and core inflation have eased to 5.1% and 3.1% respectively, the consumer food price index remains high at 9.4% in June 2024. Economic inequality has widened significantly over the past under the BJP's crony capitalism government. The wealth of Indian billionaires has increased, that means Modi's friends, has increased by 35% in 2020 alone, while millions were pushed into poverty due to the pandemic. Reports indicates that 10% of the population holds 77% of the national wealth, highlighting a severe disparity in income distribution. There is another outstanding statistics with this as well. By 22-23, the top 10% of the country's population has 22.6% of all income and owned 40% of all the wealth in the country. Sir, this is worse than the colonial era. This is worse than the British Raj. This is how the BJP is taking our country to, sir. Sir, youth and employment data. Sir, this is the elephant in the room. Despite promises to create 2 crore jobs annually, the reality has been starkly different. The unemployment rate rose by 40 year high for 6.1 in 2018 to 17.8, sir. It peaked, sir. This was much before the pandemic. So we can't blame the global situation. Today the situation is worse. One side, the Ministry of Labour and Employment is saying that as per the latest available periodic labour force survey, reports that estimate unemployment rate on usual status of person of age 15 years and above was 4.2 in 2021, 4.1 in 22, and 3.2 in 23, respectively. Sir, but the data from the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, an independent think tank, says the unemployment rate was 8% in 2020-21, 5.9% in 21-22, and 7.3% in 2022-23. This belief is far more believable on the ground reality. According to the CMI data, the unemployment rate in India stood at 9.2% in June 24, so a sharp increase from 7% in May 24. CMI Consumer Pyramid Household shows that the female unemployment reached 18.5%, exceeding the national average in June 24. This up from 15.1% the same period last year. At the same time, male unemployment stood at 7.8, slightly higher than 7.7 in June 2023. Sir, why the labor participation rate rose to 41.4% in June 2024 from 40% in May and up from 39% in June? The rural unemployment rate rose to 9.3 in June from 6.3 in May. The urban unemployment rate climbed from 8.6 to 8.9. The contrast sharply with figures of 2014, where the unemployment rate was 5.44 during the UPA regime. So the finance ministers have highlighted the BJP's 9 crucial priorities for transforming India into a developed country by 2047. The 9 priorities for generating ample opportunities for India is included: productivity and resilience in agriculture, employment and skilling, inclusive human resources development, social justice, urban development, energy security, infrastructure, innovation, research and development, and next generation reforms. So let us take one by one. Sir, productivity and resilience in agriculture. An inter-ministerial committee in April 2016 was set up in 2016 to lay out a roadmap to double farmers' income by 2022, as promised by the Prime Minister. They used 2012-2013 National Sample Survey Office data to estimate. The national average annual income of Indian farmers was 96,000 in 2015-16. Based on this, the committee set the targeted double income at 1,92,694 at 2015-16 concentrate to 2,71,000 at the current price in this. To achieve those levels, farm income would have to grow annually by 10.4% over the next 7 years, the committee calculated. While the data of 22-23 is not available, according to the last situational survey data released by 2024, the average annual income of the farming household increased from 96,703 in 2015-16 to 1,22,616 in 2018. This suggests the annual growth in farmers' income has been mere 2.8%. Even this growth has been driven from non-farm income, since income from crop cultivation declined by 1.5% annually since 2015-16. Sir, at this point, when this government came, they did promise, sir. I was also surprised that a mega project of interlinking of rivers will be taken. Sir, how many rivers have they interlinked, sir? Can they give us a white paper on that, sir? They change the ministry into Jal Shakti ministry, sir, because they want to interlink rivers. Sir, what a scam, sir. They've been cheating us all along. So now let's come to employment and skilling. So I've already presented my case of unemployment issues and lack of scale in skill development issues. I remind you again, the budget says it will take 20 lakh youth across the country, while my state, my chief minister, the revenue policy minister, through MK Stalin, is providing training for 15 lakh youths per year. So there's a wide gap from a state to a country. Sir, inclusive human resource development. The government strategy for inclusive resources, human resource development, and social justice focus on comprehensive growth across various sectors. Programs for education, health, and economic improvement, enhancing schemes like PM Vishwakarma and PM Savanidhi to support artisans, self-help groups, and entrepreneurs. The Purvodaya initiative, the East project like the Patna-Purina Expressway, rupees 15,000 crores for Andhra Pradesh capital needs a support for Polavaram irrigation project are all commendable. But why is my state, Tamil Nadu, not included? Why is all the other states not included? I will ask. The people of India would like to know, sir. Whereas the report card of, sir, for how similar schemes have fared the past, many questions on these topics have only given vague data on funding and outcomes. Sir, India's public healthcare remains underfunded and overburdened. The country's healthcare expenditure is still averaging around 1.28% of the GDP, much lower than the global average of 6%. Rural areas face severe shortage of doctors and medical facilities. So how exactly will you have inclusive human resource development? Sir, let's come to social justice. Caste-based discrimination and social inequalities persist. Dalits and other marginalized communities continue to face significant social economic challenges. Inclusive policies and robust implementations are needed to ensure social justice. But all we see is welfare schemes being ignored and spending being cut for these sections that requires a social security or a safety net. Sir, we from Tamil Nadu, our Chief Minister, have been repeatedly explained how NEET is an anti-social justice. Yet, you still remain adamant on not abolishing it. Sir, our Speaker comes from Kota. This is his constituency. Every year, more than 22 students commit suicide because of their fear of facing NEET. Same thing is coming for a state. Sir, this is the future of our children. Your arrogance should not come in the way. Sir, this is not what we want. Sir, this is anti-social. This is against the social development. I hope you open your eyes after all the scams. Do not cover it up and try to push it. Sir, next is they're talking about urban development. You refuse to fund our Chennai Metro Bridge projects or any other metro projects. Lower the state with construction bills for housing projects. The air quality index requires major cities continue to be accelerated and deforestation rates have increased. Smart City mission has been extended till March 2025 after the June deadline was missed. Smart Cities allocation slashed from 2,400 crores for the year 25 from 8,000 crores. You say more resources will be allocated for urban rejuvenation mission, which is more about improving the living conditions of the urban poor in the city. But during the course of the election, we saw in Chennai when Prime Minister Modi went for a roadshow from his favorite area of Mismambalam, and he had to cross my constituency where people are staying, poor people are staying in the slum board houses. Cloths were put, like what they did for Namashetram. They didn't want people to see the poor of Gujarat. The poor of Chennai were covered. This is the condition what they said. Sir, I would like to know, what happened to your pipe drinking water to every house? Nothing has been happening, sir. Sir, PM is talking about energy security. Sir, FM has announced a diversified energy plan focused on small modular nuclear reactors, rooftop solar plants, and development of indigenous technology for advanced ultra super critical thermal power plants with much higher efficiency. Can we have the data on how much of this funding will be allocated to each state and how the criteria of selecting the project for each state will be decided? Sir, as of June, about 54.5% of India's power comes from thermal sources like coal, gas, and diesel, while 45.5% comes from non-fossil sources, which includes 1.8% nuclear power capacity. According to the Power Ministry, how does the FM plan to alter this drastically in a short period? What happens if the state decides not to opt for small modular nuclear reactors and want to pursue with alternate sources? Is there a mechanism for how this announcement will be implemented? So there is no announcement related to ambitious green hydrogen mission, which got 600 crores the interim budget. No announcement related to electric vehicles in FAME 3, which will be critical to not just cleaner environment, but also industry. What about the funding of harnessing of offshore wind energy potential? Sir, infrastructure, sir. FM has announced 11.11 lakh crores for capital expenditure for 2024-25. Road and railway projects are to get nearly 50% of this outlay. The massive slash in social sector spending over the years, coupled with the unimaginative move to push capex once again in the latest union budget, has become a trademark of BJP budget that does little for the common people of this country. The budget capital expenditure is about 17% more compared to the actual expenditure of 9.48 lakh crores last year. FM has once again bet on increased capital expenditure spending, but little to show how it has helped deliver results. The two most powerful indicators of a revival capital expenditure cycles are acceleration and completion of investment projects. And in this increase is net fixed asset of non-financial companies. We are yet to see any result for the capex investment for the last few years. So how can we be sure? We must also not forget the large capital expenditures is at the cost of welfare. There have been significant cuts in major schemes and no investment in key sectors like healthcare and education. Similarly, schemes for minorities, the disabled, the pensioners, for the elderly, have all been summarily reduced. In addition, the rise in price over the past 5 years means that every rupee buys less than it did in 2019. This deadly combination of insufficient funding and rising inflation directly hurts our nation's poorest and most disadvantaged. It will only aggravate existing crises such as inflation, historically high unemployment, and low savings in the country. So this push for infrastructure comes at a large cost. What will we see the results of massive capital expenditure, capital spending by BJP? Sir, now let's come to innovation development. Everyone will be in support of, sir, all of us will be supporting fostering indigenous innovation and research. But the union government follow through with sufficient and consistent funding. Anushandan National Research Fund for Basic Research and Prototype Development is to be operationalized. How does the government propose to do this? Is there a roadmap in place? Financing pool of 1 lakh crore for spurring private sector-driven research and innovations at commercial scale is commendable. But where are the funds for such announcement going to come from? So let's go for next generation reform. How does the government plan to ensure uniform implementation of land and labour reforms across states, given the varying levels of infrastructure and government capabilities? How does the union government plan to structure the fiscal support for states? What criteria will be used to determine the allocation of funds? How will the government address the digital divide, particularly in the rural areas, to ensure the benefits of digitized land records and GIS mapping are accessible to all citizens? How will the government involve various stakeholders, including the farmers, labour unions, industry representatives, in reform process to ensure the concerned suggestions are adequately addressed? We already saw how your farm laws backfired due to lack of consultations. In conclusion, sir, Chairman, sir, the union budget has again failed to meet the aspiration of the middle class of the people. Sir, one would like to ask, today, nearly 4 lakh crores has been promised as a subsidy for Andhra Pradesh and for Bihar to support you being the Prime Minister. I would like to ask, from where is the money going to come? At whose cost are you going to do this? Sir, I again will demand, again we would like to say, sir, sir, very well, sir.
Please
sir,
conclude.
As point, we are supporting you. We are supporting you. We are supporting you. We are supporting. Sir,
Please
we are
address
supporting
the
you. Sir. While we support, we will be supporting.
Dayanidhi, please address the chair. Don't yield to them, please.
Thank you, sir. You are very fair, sir. Sir,
Please address the chair.
sir, at this point, while I conclude, I'll say, our demands from our Chief Minister, Sir M.K. Stalin, is for our people. Tamil Nadu has risen as a primary state, as the #1 state in Tamil Nadu in governance and ensuring development takes place. But why are you penalizing us? Because we didn't elect you. We didn't elect you because you are two-faced. You always want to use us, abuse us. You want to split us in the name of religion, caste, and you want to now make sure that you discriminate us by birth. And you do never like. Till now, how many times the Prime Minister has said he likes Tamil language, he loves Tamil language. What has he done for our Tamil language or for the people of Tamil Nadu? This is what we say in Tamil Nadu. Vaila vada sudran vardan Modi. That is the reason people of Tamil Nadu, okay, I'll explain it again. He fries vada through his mouth, not through the oil. And now, he doesn't even give the vada to us. He takes and he eats himself. Sir, I humbly request that people of Tamil Nadu are watching you. Do not try to punish them. If you punish Tamil Nadu, then India will not grow. If India has to grow, Tamil Nadu has to grow. Sir, while I conclude, I want to conclude with the last. Sir, the people of Tamil Nadu have one more great fear with our Prime Minister. In 2014, when the Prime Minister first entered the Parliament, he came to the old Parliament. He fell flat at the Parliament and took the blessings of the Parliament in 2014. Sir, now that Parliament is no more. Now, sir, 2024, sir, the Prime Minister took blessing from the Constitution. He took the Constitution book and took all his blessing. Sir, the people of Tamil Nadu, the people of country are worried. Please do not destroy the Constitution. Thank you, sir.
Sri M. Sri Bharat. Sri Bharat, please.
Thank you, sir. This is my first speech in the Parliament. I've heard many learned members speak today, and I'm not as prepared for countering many of the things that were said, but I think as we speak in the future, I'll learn from it. But I think the takeaway is that politics are different, times change, and when we point fingers at someone, there's 4 fingers pointing back at us. And I think I'll speak about those as we proceed into the future. I'd like to start off by thanking the Honorable Prime Minister and the Finance Minister for their visionary budget, which exemplifies the government's unwavering commitment to Viksit Bharat and the goal of making India a $30 trillion economy by 2047, and also making it the 3rd largest economy by 2027. There were things that were said by members of the opposition. I'd like to highlight some of them. That the government today is not a stable government. I'd like to remind everyone that when UPA 2 came into power in 2009, the UPA didn't get the magic numbers. They were under 273, and they had to take external support of other parties to form the government. Compared to the times then and parties over here that were part of that alliance, we are much stronger now than they were then. I'd like to also highlight that what we're doing now is
the alliance is based on pre-election agreement between the political parties, and we've all come together based on the needs of our respective states. And I'll come back to why Andhra Pradesh needs help and what the challenges we've faced over the last 5 years. But I'd like to highlight certain aspects of the budget, I think, which will help us become Viksit Bharat by 2047. I'd like to start off with the focus on infrastructure, on capital expenditure. The 11.11 crores that have been committed to capital expenditure is about 12% greater than what was
committed last year. And I'd also like to appreciate the 1.5 lakh crores that have been given interest-free for multiple states across the country to leverage to build their own infrastructure. I'd like to also acknowledge the budget given for rural Bharat through the allocation of 2.66 lakh crores. I'd like to in particular appreciate the government for recognizing the challenges of the MSME sector by basically providing end-to-end support, from the new credit assessment for giving about 100 crores of loan without collateral, from giving support to stressed MSMEs during their times of difficulty, to giving them access to funds. I think the MSMEs are the backbone of the country, because across rural and urban areas, there's millions of MSMEs across the country that need that help. But through this development, we are not leaving people behind, because there are allegations of price rise and inflation. I'd like to remind here that the average inflation in the NDA government over the last 10 years has been about 5% as per the World Economic Outlook. But during the UPA regime of 4 to 14, the inflation was 7.5%. So there's a 2.5% average lower number of inflation in the last 10 years compared to the UPA regime from 4 to 14. So whatever complaints that the opposition has about price rise, I think they're pointing a lot more fingers at themselves. I think the commitment of the government to give budget support to 1 crore families for building housing, both in urban and rural areas, is much appreciated, and we look forward to getting that benefit in Andhra Pradesh also. I think the continued welfare support through the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana to 80 crore people and continuing that for 5 more years, we appreciate that. And I'd like to specifically mention the water management that the city of Visakhapatnam that I represent is covered in that. Having told the entire parliament during the campaign and also having contested in 2019, this is an acute shortage and acute challenge that we face in our city with sewage and solid waste treatment issues. I'd like to also highlight the solar plan of providing about 1 crore houses with solar rooftops and about 300 units of electricity free. So I think through this, the government is providing development and providing support to not only the wealthy, but also to the moving forward, we support many others. We've given a basic standard of living through these various initiatives. We've focused on infrastructure, we've focused on economic growth. But then the question is about equity. How are we giving opportunity to different people around the country? There are different things that the budget has spoken about. One, which was very interesting, was about being able to provide internship opportunities to 1 crore youth across the country, to start with in the 500 top companies, but I hope that it gets spread to other companies. And the budget outlay in terms of giving a one-time joining of 6,000 rupees and a monthly benefit about 5,000 rupees. I'd like to appreciate the intention to set up 1,000 ITIs in the hub and spoke model across the country and to train 20 lakh youth in skilling. I think it's a much needed initiative. Being a person who is in higher education myself, I'd like to in particular appreciate the intention to give loan support of about 10 lakh rupees to every student who wants to pursue higher education in domestic institutions, and also giving 3% subvention on interest. Because I did my undergrad in the US, I lead a university in India today with about 30,000 students. I've seen over the last 2 decades that increasingly the number of assets that one holds is going down. Most people have to take debt to educate their children. And today, I don't want India to go into a place where the United States is right now, which is rising debt trap in the student community. And I think if you see the major expenditure that any household incurs is on education and on healthcare. So this important scheme coming in the higher education is much appreciated. And I also would like to briefly mention some initiatives in the Atmanirbhar Bharat intentionality, which is about making ourselves self-sufficient on the semiconductors and the entire technology sector because of the challenges we've seen in the pandemic and in general in the global uncertainty. I think all of the production-linked incentives we've given in the technology, IT, automobiles, are all very necessary to also provide opportunities for Indian citizens for pursuing manufacturing in India. As we do all this, I think there's two.
Good afternoon. Can we start? I'm here to talk about a few very immature and negative reactions from members of the opposition. Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's government's budget presented by Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji has been welcomed by one and all. The whole country looks at this budget as a progressive budget, pro-people, pro-poor, pro-farmer, pro-employment budget. It is a budget which रामन जी के द्वारा प्रस्तुत किया इस बजट को एक गरीब किसान का एक प्रमुख हिस्सा था. Balanced development has been the focus of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's governance all through the past 10 years. It has found a mention, as far as I recall, in every budget in the last 10 years. Special focus to be given to backward states, particularly to the eastern region, to ensure that we are able to achieve balanced development. And this budget is a continuation of that effort by Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji. And that is the reason why some states have been, while the budget with a more than 48 lakh crore overall budget expenditure, it gives focus to every section of the society and every state in the country. But some special allocations have been made to some states, keeping in view their developmental needs and their long neglect and how they are not able to catch up with the development in many other parts of the country. So given this background, the Congress and Indie alliance's opposition to the budget, it actually reveals their political frustration, and it shows their negative attitude towards some backward states which need special development, special focus. ये कांग्रेस और इंडी गठबंधन के द्वारा जो बजट की जो आलोचना और जो बजट का विरोध किया जा रहा है, यह उनकी एक बौखलाहट और उनकी निराशा को दर्शाती है, ना कि ये बजट के ऊपर किसी प्रकार की एक कोई विचार विमर्श के रूप में हम नहीं देखते हैं। और ये कांग्रेस पार्टी की एक मैनिफेस्टो का एक पेपर आपको मैं दिखाना चाहता हूं, जो ऑल इंडिया कांग्रेस पार्टी मैनिफेस्टो। दिस इज अ पेज which was released with great fanfare. I don't know whether they read their manifestos. This is a section on federalism, center and state relations. This talks about Congress party's commitment to Andhra Pradesh. It says we will give special category status to Andhra Pradesh as promised in 2014. No other state finds a mention in entire Congress party manifesto except the state of Andhra Pradesh. Apart from this, there are two UTs which are mentioned, but no other state finds a mention, because Andhra Pradesh certainly needs a special assistance because of the ravages of division, bifurcation, and Congress party's neglect of Andhra Pradesh, despite coming to power for 10 years, from 2004 to 14, only because of the support from Andhra Pradesh. I think Congress party betrayed people of Andhra Pradesh. कांग्रेस पार्टी ने आंध्र की जनता के साथ बड़ा धोखा किया था। सरकार में आए आंध्र की केवल और केवल, ये हमारे सरकार में अभी हमें 240 अपने बलबूते पर है। हम किसी एक राज्य की संख्या पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार अभी निर्भर नहीं है, लेकिन मनमोहन सिंह की सरकार पूरी तरह आंध्र प्रदेश में समर्थन के कारण 2 बार बनी है। आपने क्या किया? आपने आंध्र प्रदेश की जनता के साथ बड़ा धोखा किया है, और अब उससे बचने के लिए आप इस प्रकार के खोखले प्रोमिसेस करते रहते हैं अपने मैनिफेस्टोस। द रीजन व्हाई आई एम मेंशनिंग दिस इज नॉट बिकॉज कांग्रेस पार्टी हैज एनी ग्रेट लव और any love towards people of Andhra Pradesh. They do realize that they betrayed people of Andhra Pradesh, and that betrayal, they cannot get out of it. And they've still been reduced to 1% party in Andhra Pradesh. आज भी कांग्रेस पार्टी जिस राज्य की मदद से 2 बार केंद्र में सरकार बनाई 2004-09 में, आज आंध्र प्रदेश में उनकी हालत 1% से कम है। और मैं राहुल गांधी जी को कहना चाहता हूं, इतना बड़ा झटका लगने के बाद भी आप सीखना नहीं चाहते हैं, तो आंध्र की जनता आपको कभी भी भविष्य में भी माफ नहीं करेगी। So this is again a local manifesto released by the Congress party, which again talks about this. So you have yourself mentioned Andhra Pradesh because you realize Andhra Pradesh needs special assistance. So we have given in this budget, Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable FM have provided some financial assistance through multilateral agencies to Andhra Pradesh, only to help a state which has been left without a capital because of the Congress party's hurried actions in 2014, only to get a political benefit out of state bifurcation. वो benefit तो मिला नहीं, that benefit they never got and they will never get, because it was a purely a political game that they employed. Andhra Pradesh and अब देखिए, केवल आंध्र प्रदेश और बिहार की बात नहीं है। In this budget there is a mention of how states are going to benefit, how Purvodaya plan.
त्याच्या कंपनीतला त्याचा
Purvodaya
कामगार
plan
जेव्हा
includes all the states in the eastern corridor. It
अर्थसंकल्पामध्ये
includes
आम्हाला
West
एवढं
Bengal.
कळलं,
It includes the states of
आणि महाराष्ट्राला एवढा अन्याय झाला,
Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, because that's the western belt. A Purvodaya plan, which will help us to make investments, which will allow government to make investments in infrastructure, in HRD, in education, so on and so forth.
भारतीय जनता पार्टीच्या प्रदेश कार्यालयामध्ये आपल्या सगळ्यांचं मनापासून स्वागत. आमचे नेते आदरणीय नेतेजी
Keep going on, but I think the people of Andhra Pradesh have recognized these failures in governance. And when we came together, the BJP, Janasena and TDP, and we went to the people that we need to beat this dictatorial regime, they have given us a historical mandate of 164 seats out of 175 seats. We've won 21 seats in the NDA. I'd like to remind members of the opposition that we've gone together. It's not that BJP has 3 MPs in Andhra Pradesh, but the NDA has 21 MPs in Andhra Pradesh, and that is a very strong part of the government today. We'd like to continue to seek central support over the next few years because we'd like Andhra to come back onto its feet. As was said before, strong states make for strong countries, and competitive federalism is very good for all states to compete in a very positive manner. So we would like to continue to do that, but we seek that help in the short term so that Andhra can get back onto its feet. We're very confident that under visionary leadership of our leader Chandrababu Naidu ji, we had difficulties in 1995 when we came into power, when he became chief minister. We had difficulties in 2014 when we came into power, but we've never seen difficulties like this, what we have now in 2024.